1 year ago, I started learning LangChain, and in just 2 months, I was able to secure a $74,000 job offer as an AI engineer here in Sweden. Today, I'm a senior AI engineer at a startup founded by one of the most influential people in Gen AI right now. Things are happening so quickly in AI, and that means that if you play your cards right, you can grow really quickly. So if you're a software developer who's worried about the job market, you feel like you're not progressing fast enough in your career, this video will motivate you to pick up AI engineering skills, set you apart in job interviews, help you get paid more, and give you job security. So to start off, while you can break into AI engineering very quickly, I don't want to set the expectation that you're going to do it in 2 months like me. That was a combination of just having the right skill set, the right timing, and a little bit of luck. But if you have a couple of years of full stack experience, I firmly believe that in 5 to 6 months, you could easily land an AI engineer job. The demand for AI engineers is only rising. You see job offers up to $500,000 in the US. And even in Europe, which is typically known for paying a fraction of US salaries, is seeing insanely high salary bands from Anthropic, OpenAI, and other AI companies. Nowadays, even regular full stack roles are seeing it as a bonus if you have some Gen AI experience. This demand is not projected to go anywhere but up. So I noticed this a year ago, and I thought AI was very interesting, and I wanted to add some additional job security to my career, just like you. Because this isn't just another fad like crypto. Yeah, it's kind of overhyped, but AI delivered on value immediately. So I realized that now, or then a year ago, was the right time to jump in. Even today, I firmly believe it's very early to jump in. And that's why I urge you to put some serious work in right now so you can set yourself up well for the future. I'm a self-taught software developer and I was doing full stack at the time, so I enrolled in the deep learning.ai machine learning specialization to get some more formal education, which I highly recommend. It's not so much about Gen AI as it is about machine learning, but it gives you a good understanding of the algorithms that power this technology. And putting this on your resume makes a big difference. I got through this in about 3 weeks, but you can expect maybe like a month or something like that. I just happened to have a lot of time on my hands, so I just got it done with. So after I completed specialization, I decided to learn LangChain. Now, this is a framework that essentially allows you to more easily develop LLM-powered solutions. So I saw this and it was kind of like popping off at the time, so I was thinking I would just ride that wave. And it was a great decision, not gonna lie. Because now I'm seeing more and more job positions that see it as a bonus or even a requirement to know LangChain or LangGraph. It also has a great developer community behind it. On their GitHub, they're super responsive to issues and pull requests. And they even host events across the US and in Europe. So I was learning LangChain and I was like, okay, it's time to make a project. And here's the kicker. For personal projects, you want to make it solve a real business problem. Gone are the days where you can do like a Netflix clone and put it on your portfolio and show that off. That's not going to impress anyone. Try to actually find a real problem and solve it. This is what the job market is looking for right now. Not just coders, but people who can understand business needs and translate that into technical solutions. In your project, you should show how you do that. And I would say that's one of the reasons I've grown so quickly in this field is because I come from a business background. So that's something I try to emphasize a lot in my projects, in my work, and my interviews, that I really think about the business logic behind everything. I guess you don't even really need to solve a business problem, but you need to show how it could potentially solve that business problem. The bar isn't really as high as it sounds. And I feel like I'm rambling now, but if you'd like a more in-depth video on this, like translating business needs to technical solutions, drop me a comment. So at the time, I was working on my own startup, CondoCube, which is a data intelligence platform for real estate agents. So I had access to a lot of real estate data, and I figured, let's make a chatbot so that the users can, instead of learning the interface, they can just chat with the database with plain English. If you'd like to learn more, I made a video on this project. It's the project that got me my first AI engineer job. And there I also open sourced the project, so I have the GitHub repository there with the data set as well. So you can clone it and work in it yourself to learn in the same way that I was learning. But if you want to do your own project, you can find a lot of good quality data sets on Kaggle. And that's probably a good entry point to figuring out what sort of project you want to do. I'd recommend finding a real estate data set because it's honestly way more fun than stocks. I mean, stocks are not even like real, at least real estate, like a building, you can actually see and touch it. This project, it honestly just took me a couple of days to complete. And I was surprised by how straightforward the LangChain implementation was and just working with LLMs in general in code. There were a couple caveats in the LangChain documentation at the time, but I believe that's fixed. I wonder what genius did that. But what surprised me was that the hard part of the project was not the technical implementation, it was about engineering the right prompt. Prompt engineering took probably the longest time here. And you'll see in the GitHub repo for this project, it's just one massive mega prompt, which you shouldn't really do. I definitely spent a lot of time in learning prompt engineering, few shot prompting, splitting up prompts, etc. That would really help you in your work as an AI engineer. Also, as you build these personal projects, I highly recommend that you journal the things that frustrate you and how you overcame them. Because a lot of interviews I'm seeing, they're kind of asking about your experience with building projects rather than conceptual questions. The whole AI engineering field is so new that they kind of just want to see your approach to problems, what problems you're facing, and how you solve them. So make sure to journal whenever you're stuck. So then I saw on LinkedIn this property management software company that was looking for an AI engineer. And this is where I leaned into my unfair advantage. You see, I was a real estate agent before. I know the real estate industry very well. And now I know Gen AI, so I knew that if I marketed myself correctly, there'd be no way they would turn me down. And this is something I want you to spend some time to figure out. What is your unfair advantage? And it can be something very small. For example, if the company you're applying for is working in fashion or merchandising, well, do some research about AI and fashion. Make sure you're kind of up to speed. You even need to be a fashion guy. A nice little tip I have is to set up a Google alert for these topics so that you know immediately what's happening. And then in your interviews, you can draw from that and say, oh, like, yeah, I don't really have much experience in the fashion industry, but it's very interesting to me and I'm following it. And I just noticed that this happened last week, blah, 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 you know? And like I said, you don't even need to be a fashion guy to work in fashion AI. You just need to show an interest for it. Like the company I work for, we do e-commerce for a lot of fashion brands. And I mean, look, I'm wearing this oversized shirt that's all wrinkly and stuff. Like, I don't know anything about fashion. Now, companies want engineers that understand products. And just doing a little bit of research before the interview can really set you apart and probably is the highest return on investment activity you can do in your interview process. If you aren't doing this research and trying to tie in some sort of unfair advantage to your interviews, then you're just lazy. Because if you're creative, you can always do this. It doesn't take a lot to set you apart because everyone is doing the same thing. And this is something I learned as a real estate agent. You want to take the smallest thing that sets you apart and makes you interesting to the customer and really just highlight it. Now, all businesses, they do this to some degree as well. When selling their service to a customer, in their pitch decks, when they're trying to raise funding. This is just the name of the game, and you should treat your career as a business as well. Okay, so back to the interview process. The technical assignment they had me do was actually very similar to the personal project I had made, so it's kind of easy. Like I said, I did have a lot of luck here, but I'm still confident that with the tips I'm telling you, this is still very doable. And this company explicitly said that because the industry is so new, the Gen AI industry, that they're not even requiring any formal experience with large language models. Like personal projects were fine here. And I still think this holds true today. Like you'll see, LangChain skills, vector databases, they'll be listed in like the bonus points section. So even if you have personal projects, especially those that somewhat solve real business problems, that's really all you need here. I actually made a course on LangChain, vector databases, RAG, etc., which you can watch here. It's basically me building the project that got me my first job. It's helped out a lot of people in their AI engineering careers, so highly recommend you give that a watch. So what happened? I got the job offer. It was really nice, but I actually said no due to personal reasons, and also I wanted to keep working at my startup. But this gave me the confidence to start this AI engineering YouTube channel, to go even harder on my AI engineering journey, and to create many more Gen AI applications and even start contributing in open source. During this time, I actually received 3 other AI engineer job offers, One of them actually accepted, and I'm working at right now as a senior AI engineer. So as you can see, you can progress really fast in this industry right now if you play your cards right. So the point I want to drill home is things can happen incredibly fast because the industry is moving incredibly fast and companies don't want to be left behind. If you can show companies that you can keep up by putting in the hard work now, you will be rewarded with a high salary, great job security, and an excellent career opportunity. I hope my story inspires you to start your AI engineering journey, because that's kind of what this channel is all about, helping people on the same journey that I've been on, and that's helped me so much. Now, I do have some more interview advice to give you, which you can watch in this video, where I talk about other ways you can stand out in your interviews by just being less boring, essentially, which is a very underrated skill in the interview process. So make sure to watch that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.